All right, Mentorship Masters Roundtable Meetup has officially kicked off for this week. That's right, we meet every single week. Hello, family. So excited to be back with you guys. Like I say, I'm a little bit out of breath because I've been doing my workout this morning, and I just finished my last set. So, well, actually, it's not my last set. I have one more set to do, but I'll do it after this meeting. Today, we're going to be talking about dollar productive activities. Who wants more money? Raise your hand if you want more money. Who raise your hand if you want to be doing things that bring in more money. Yeah, right. So that's what we're going to talk about today: dollar productive activities. I'm going to share my screen. Um, Thank you, Rebecca. Rebecca says she's proud of me. I try to do my strength training 3 times a week. Of course, we walk just about every day, at least 10,000 steps. We try to do that, about 4 miles a day. Remember, for the master, I was going to share my screen, but for the master, remember, we have 4 bodies, guys. We have a physical body, and we have a spiritual body. Spiritual body is the most important. We also have a mental body and an emotional body. So we really have to take care of everybody that we have. By the way, just as a reminder, um, I'm going to redo our book of the month tab, but this is our book of the month this month. Okay. The power of your subconscious mind. Now, if you've already read it, most of you that have been with me for a while, you've already read this book. And it's a great idea to revisit this book if you've already read it. But that's our January book that we start off every January. So essentially, we have like 12 titles that rotate throughout the year. Not even 12 titles. I think a few of them, they take a couple months to read. But this is the power of your subconscious mind. Make sure you revisit that because it's really powerful. And I've probably read it 5 or 6 times, and it takes about 3 times for it to really sink in. So that's our book of the month. All right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen. So I've got a PowerPoint that I want to share with you guys. And where are we going here with this? Okay, here we go. All right. So, man, it's so good to sit down with my family. I love you guys, and I'm excited to be here with you. So, today we're talking about dollar productive activities. Dollar productive activities. Yes, we want more money. We want more money in our pocket, and we want to be better stewards of the money that we have, and we want to be better stewards of the time that God has given us as well. So that's what we're going to be talking about: dollar productive activities. These are the masters that have recently joined. So if you're on this list, high five. Thank you for joining us. The masters that have joined are right here in this section. And the sponsor that brought them in is right over here. So another shout out to Mark Phillips, because Mark is killing it. He is already going to have 5 masters under his belt. And I think he's got a couple more joining. So he is really crushing it with that. These are our top producers. So if you're on this list, you're one of our top 10 producers and one of our cappers. By the way, since Chris put this list together about a week ago, I think we had 3 more people that have capped since then. So we're going to announce that next week, or not next week, but next time that we update this. We update it once a month. So kudos to you guys. By the way, I just finished a sit down with David Dutton. And some of you guys have been wondering, how did David Dutton, he had been with Keller Williams for 14 years. He started his career at Keller Williams, was there for 14 years, and he joined us just over a year ago. He does over $10 million a year in production, and he shares kind of his story. So we'll get into that. I'll be releasing that video soon. These are our ambassadors. Okay, so if you're on this list, you're one of our ambassadors. You become an ambassador by introducing someone to Mentorship Masters. They join, you become an ambassador of our group. So we have many of our ambassadors that have brought in at least one person. Kudos, shout out to you guys. Thank you so much. We have 33 ambassadors. And then, of course, we have some in the top spots up here. Looks like Mark just slid into he's tied for number 4. And soon looks like he'll be at number 3. Stuart, Artemis, Will and Deb are at the top spots. And then we have many others of you that are joining us today as well. So thank you for helping us grow. We want to grow. Right now, we're at 157 members. We want to grow by the end of this year to 600 members. That's right. We want 600 people in a God-fearing, Christ-centered group like ours, in Mentorship Masters, being able to drink from the fountain. So I'm going to share with you how to do it as well a little bit today before we get into the dollar productive. Now, EXP in the news. Yes, we are in the news. A lot of great stuff happening at EXP. The big thing that I'm going to just remind you guys of is the fact that we have Hong Kong, Brazil, Italy, and Puerto Rico that are all opening up this quarter. Let me say it again. Hong Kong, Brazil, Italy, Puerto Rico, they're all opening up this quarter. And by the way, we'll have our first master from India that's going to be joining our group the first week of February is what we're kind of slated for right now. So Artemis has been really active in attracting outside of the US. And so we're going to have our first master from India among us. So that's going to be real soon. By the way, we have a friendly face with us today. Do I see right? Do I see Patty Lynn? Patty Lynn is in the house. So you guys remember Patty Lynn, those of you that are the original masters, the founders members, remember Patty Lynn. And Patty Lynn and I kind of almost started the masters group together at the very beginning. And we just weren't growing fast enough. But now that we're over 150 members, Patty Lynn's going to be coming back on board. She's going to be helping our masters with all kinds of stuff. So we're actually going to talk more about that next week and what she's going to be doing to help you guys to succeed, because this organization that you're looking at, Mentorship Masters, is going to be grown through you guys. Okay, it's not going to be grown. My level one is pretty much complete. The 40,000 or 100,000 members that we're going to have in our group are all going to come through you guys over the next 10 years. So Patty Lynn's going to be really helping us in that charge. So thanks for being here, Patty Lynn. And then of course, Chris is also our support. So we'll have a couple of support people to help you guys succeed. Another thing, a big announcement is that starting Tuesday, 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 Central, same time as right now, we're going to start doing our Mentorship Masters EXP webinar, live webinar. So that's going to be every Tuesday. Some of you guys have been asking me for something like this, but you'll be actually able to invite people to a live presentation of Mentorship Masters and EXP starting this upcoming Tuesday. So I'll email you guys some more information. I'll post some more information on Workplace. But this is a place where you actually be able to invite people that are like, hey, I'm kind of interested in this, but maybe they don't want to watch the video. They want to go to a live presentation. So you'll be able to register them for the presentation every Tuesday. They'll be able to attend, and it's going to be very powerful. It's going to really help to move the needle in them making a decision to join our company, okay, in our group. So that's going to be happening every Tuesday. And I want to go over the attraction steps real quick before we get into our presentation. So I've had several emails or workplace chats from you guys this week about, hey, how do I get into agent attraction? How do I do more of it? How do I bring more people to Mentorship Masters? And so this is just a reminder that these are the 5 steps. So what I want you to think about, though, and write this down, you don't have to become a good recruiter to bring people to Mentorship Masters. You just have to become a good inviter. Okay, that's all. You're just becoming a good inviter. If you can invite, that's all we ask you to do. So the first step is you create curiosity, and that might be through them reaching out to you, or maybe you did a closing with them, or something happened where they asked you about the group you're with, or they say, well, what's going on with EXP? Tell me more about it, or tell me more about Mentorship Masters. Now, the last thing I want you guys to do is try to explain Mentorship Masters or EXP to them. Okay, let me do that. Let us do that. Let the model explain. Let Brent Gove do that kind of stuff. because EXP is very difficult to explain. And the easier thing to do is say, hey, I can see you're a little bit curious about it. Let me send you a video to watch with more information, okay? So number one, you create curiosity. Number two, you invite them to watch the model explained. And that's the Brent Go video that we all use. I'll post it into the chat here in a minute, the one that I recommend. So then after they've watched the video, so the yes or no. So yes, they're curious. So step two, you invite them to watch the model explain. Yes, they went ahead and watched it. Okay. Then you invite them to the live presentation. Okay. The live presentation's on Tuesdays. Yes. If they go to the live presentation because at the end of the live presentation, I'm going to invite them to go back to the mentorship master that invited them to the presentation to ask any questions that they have. And if they have further curiosity and they're just not quite ready to sign up or to enroll, then you invite them to a three-way call, okay? And actually, Patty Lynn will be doing our three-way calls. Maybe Patty Lynn didn't know that, but Patty Lynn will be doing them. Patty Lynn is phenomenal with her knowledge about EXP and our group mentorship masters. She knows about as much as I do about it or more. And so, after we've done several together and she feels adequately trained, she'll actually be doing the three-way calls. And then the step 5 is just to incubate. Okay. Because here's the thing, 30 to 40% of people that attend a three-way call join the company, 30 to 40%. So for every 2.5 people that you get on a three-way call, 1 will join. So it really is just a numbers game, guys. For me, I've been averaging at least, like I said, for me, it's been closer to 40 to 50%, because by the time they get to a three-way call, they're pretty serious about joining. They just have a few questions. And then you incubate. That's the last step. Follow up until they buy or die. Okay, that's a joke, but really, I keep them on my list until they're deceased, right? I mean, I just keep following up with them tastefully. You don't want to keep beating them over the head, but tastefully, you want to keep following up with them. So that is the agent attraction, the 5-step process. That is the process that will lead you to success. We're going to talk more about that, about agent attraction next week. But this week, we're going to talk about dollar productive activities. That's right, dollar productive activities. What are the activities that you can be doing to be the most productive possible? By the way, let me post. I see you guys have a lively chat going here on the side. Okay, so I'm posting the video that I like to use whenever I'm introducing people to EXP. And so that's the Brent Go video that I prefer. But again, now you'll be able to invite them to our Tuesday lunch and learn that we're going to start having every Tuesday live. A lot of people like to come to live presentations. And so I get that. Okay, so when we're talking about dollar productive activities, here's what I want you to understand. There are some activities that you're doing right now, today, that are not making you the most money. Okay, they're just not making you the most money. Now, when we say dollar productive activities, it is a little bit of a misnomer in a way, because the real term is most dollar producing activities. Okay, most dollar producing activities. So here's the question: what are the most dollar producing activities? So that's the question. And if you're in real estate, and again, the answer is going to depend on your focus. So some of you are here in our group, and your focus is agent attraction. You're not focused on production. And so the question is, what are the most dollar productive activities? I can tell you the most dollar productive activity is getting someone on a three-way call or getting them to a live event. Okay, that's the most dollar productive activity in agent attraction. When it comes to production, that's what we're going to look at today. There is something that's quite insidious that will destroy your time. It'll keep you broke. It'll keep you in feast or famine. It'll keep you working long nights and weekends. It'll keep you doing the part of the business that you don't like. It'll burn you out. It'll make it not fun. Okay. And it will be a drudgery to do this business if you don't focus on dollar productive activities. Okay. And I've had several conversations with you guys this week about this. And that's why I wanted to really hammer it home today. Now, I'm going to teach for about 15 more minutes in terms of the training. I'm going to teach for about 15 minutes or so. And then I'm going to open it up pretty wide for any questions, comments, or ahas that you guys have. So as you're having them, write them down, and then we'll kind of have a wrap up and share for the last 20, 30 minutes. So what I want to do is I want to share my screen again, and I want to take you to, let's get out of this, and let me take you to the portal. Now, you remember the Mentorship Masters portal is where everything lives, okay? This is where everything Mentorship Masters lives. So when you log into the portal, for the purpose of our training today, you're going to go to the Nollie Tools and Resources section, and then you're going to go all the way down to, now don't do this right now, I'm just showing you how to get this information later. You're going to go down to where it says, where is it? It's Nollie Team Listing, Worksheets, Docs, and Checklists. Okay, Nollie Team Listing, Worksheets, Docs, Checklist. And that's going to land you into this page, right? This, you go to that tab, it's going to land you into this training right here. And you're going to click on this one right in the middle. It says download transaction checklist. And when you do that, it's going to take you right to the checklist that I put together for you for this training, and the ones that I use for my team as well. Let me see. So every one of you has this one right here, success with listings. So it's kind of like the model explained for a listing business, right? And in here, I have my 42-step system of how to take listings and how to dominate with listings. If you don't have it already, you can download it for free in the portal. If you want the printed copy, of course, it's on Amazon, free shipping with Prime. Or if you're watching this and you're not part of Mentorship Masters, one of our Mentorship Masters shared this video with you, you can go directly to nollie.com and download the book, Success with Listings, for free. Or you can check with the person that shared this video with you and they can get you a link to it. But you want to have that book because the book itself really goes into the outline of all the steps. You know, here, I'm just going to share with you one of the things that the book doesn't necessarily do is tell you what you should be doing and what your admin should be doing. And, you know, in truth, I guess the majority of the book is really written for an admin. You know, that's the majority of the book. Once you get past chapter 11, the rest of the book, the rest of the 25 chapters are really written for an administrative assistant for the most part. Now let's look at this. We talked about this briefly last week, but I wanted to bring it back. Remember last week, if you didn't attend last week, that was a really good training. And we talked about building a pipeline. Okay. There's a difference between being in feast or famine in this business and having a pipeline where you constantly have business all the time. The only way that you're ever going to get to a business where every single week you have a closing is through a pipeline. You got to have a pipeline. And so if you don't know what that is, go back and listen to last week's training. And here we're going to talk again about what you should be doing and what you shouldn't. Dollar productive activities. So again, remember when I told you that the real term is most dollar producing activities? So it could be argued that many of these duties that I'm not going to have you doing anymore after today you could say, man, Nollie, that's a dollar producing activity. But the real test is it the most dollar productive? Okay. Remember, I want you working 4 hours a day, nights and weekends off. Okay. Working 20 to 30 hours a week, 4 to 5 vacations a year, making $250,000 or more a year in commission. and I want you to be debt free. Those are the 5 tenets of a mentorship master. If you're not on track for that, then you got work to do. Okay, let's talk about it again. Nights and weekends off, working 20 to 30 hours a week or less. Okay, 4 to 5 vacations a year. Okay, and being completely debt free with earning $250,000 or more in commission. That is the definition of a mentorship master. Now, if that's not your goal, you're like, man, I'm cool with 100,000. That's your business. Okay. But the techniques that I teach can't produce less than that unless you're not doing them, or you're doing them not the way I teach. Okay. Don't reinvent the wheel. There's no point in it. And I am notorious for reinventing the wheel. So I'm speaking to myself when I say this. Do what Uncle Nollie tells you to do. That's it. Follow the steps and you'll succeed. So everything that you see on this checklist, so this is when you take a listing. Okay. When you take a listing, everything that you see here that is not highlighted is not for you. Let that sink in. Everything that you see on this list that is not highlighted is not for you to do. Now, I hear all kinds of excuses. Nollie, I like doing the paperwork. I like doing this. I enjoy that. I like spending time with clients. Listen, you hired me for a very specific reason. And what I'm telling you is that anything that's on this list that's not highlighted is not for you. Okay. Now, who is it for? You've got a property assistant and a team admin. Okay. Now, team admin, what is that? A team admin is quite frankly, your contract to close person. That's the person that does your contract to close. Now, your property admin or assistant that's anything that, in my opinion, is administrative in nature, but requires a license. Okay. So again, anything that's administrative in nature, but requires a license. So let's talk about what is dollar productive activity. Number one, generating a seller prospect. We call that lead generation. We also call it do the two. That is a dollar productive activity. Number two, the initial phone consultation with the seller and setting the appointment via Zoom, okay, or in person if you prefer. That's a dollar productive activity. Although in my practice, I never did that. I had my assistant do that part. The initial CMA, I think, is a dollar productive activity, because if you're really good at doing CMAs, there are some things that you're going to see that the average agent just won't see. And I got really good after I did, several hundred of them. And by the way, the more CMAs you do, the better you get at understanding the property values and where the market is headed. Conducting the listing appointment in person or Zoom, that is a dollar productive activity. Okay. Now in my practice, I was able to leverage that, but most of you, I'm not going to teach you to leverage that because you're not at that level. Okay. You're not at that level. When you're doing 40 or 50 deals a year, then let's talk about leveraging other pieces. But right now you're doing it. Okay. Getting the listing documents signed via DocuSign or whatever digital method you use, that's a dollar productive activity. I mean, getting that paperwork signed, that's dollar productive. Now, again, you can argue with me that walking through putting up the sign and lock box and walking through the house is dollar productive, or that, what else on here? Some people argue with me that attending the closing is dollar productive. I disagree. Okay. And, you can have a delegate from your organization attend the closing. You have to think bigger than you're thinking. Write that down. Think big, then bigger. Gary Keller used to tell me that all the time. He said, Nollie, think big, then bigger. I remember one time I came to Gary, he said, put together a plan and I want to see it. And, the next time we meet, and I want to see this plan for how you're going to dominate in this particular niche. So I put this plan together, and it was a plan to do, I want to say it was 100 deals a month was my goal at the time, or maybe it was 100 deals a quarter, so whatever it was. And Gary just looked at it and he just shook his head. He said, why wouldn't you? He said that's lame. I mean, Gary's a hard. I don't know if you've ever one-on-one coach with Gary, he's hard. Uh, he's hard. You know, we're recording, so I won't say the term for it, but he's pretty hard. He's hard as nails, and that's really what you want. You want somebody that's going to be honest with you. You know, the reality is, if you feel like you have to personally attend the closing, then you're just full of yourself. Okay. You just are. You know, J.C. Penney, when J.C. Penney first launched his stores, the only way for him to grow was to get out of the picture. Okay. J.C. Penney could not personally tend to every customer and show them the suits and show them the cosmetics. And they say, well, I only want to deal with J.C. No. You know, how can he grow to have 700 or 800 locations if that's the case? Okay. So you got to think bigger than you are. Even this step over here where it says draft the DI and submit that to title, that's what I call the disbursement instructions. That's your wiring information. Even that step could be sent to an admin, but that's your money that we're talking about. So I have you doing that. Everything else here can be delegated. Now let's look at what can be delegated with a buyer. This is a short sale for those of you that were blessed to learn short sales back in the day. We still do several short sales a year. I think we did 3 or 4 last year. And on a short sale, I do 3 things from start to finish. I do 3 activities on that property, and that's it. Okay. Now on a buyer, let's look at buyers. On a buyer, what are dollar productive activities with a buyer? Well, for a buyer, the most dollar productive activities are, number 1, the initial phone consultation with a follow-up email, setting up the search, okay, and putting that on automation, and then negotiating the offer when one comes in, and presenting the offer, drafting your instructions on how you get paid, and that's it. Those are the most dollar productive activities for a buyer. By the way, these activities here after closing, those should be highlighted. That's a mistake. So those should be highlighted. And only I'm sorry, under contract. I didn't. So reviewing the inspection report with the buyer, that's dollar productive because that's negotiation. Setting their expectations. You know, there's a right and wrong way to present an inspection report. Okay. The wrong way is, crap, look at all this. Look at everything that's wrong with this house. Can you believe? No, that's the wrong way. The right way is, hey, you know what? We beat out 6 other offers to get this property. Now, there are some issues that need to be addressed, but that's, you know, commensurate with the property's age. You look at the age of the property and you look at the issues, and we've got to take that into account. Now, with that being taken into account, let's take a look at what we're looking at. Okay. And then you go through all the items, you know, that are concern to the buyer. I don't go through every single item. That might be another class that we do, how to review an inspection report. And Rebecca Wooten is actually an expert at this, so she probably would be better to teach this than me. But then you want to share any pre-option period items and requests with the listing agent. That's delicate. That has to be done craftfully. And then any additional negotiations if needed. Okay. For those of you that are kind of rusty on your negotiation skills, one of our mentorship masters, Will Gilliam, is a master negotiator. So we might even have a negotiations class. If you guys say that you want that, if I see enough of you in the chat saying that that's something you want to see, we could do a negotiation class. These are classes that Will Gilliam actually holds for his group. And he learned through a number of people, including Chris Voss, who wrote the book, Never Split the Difference. And he was a former hostage negotiator that teaches you how to negotiate. So there are some negotiation skills that are required for when the property is under contract. And so anyway, that's all you should be doing with a buyer. What should you not be doing? Drawing up the buyer documents. Okay, that's the buyer rep agreement and all that kind of stuff. getting the buyer document signed, setting up showings, showing homes, showing the properties, writing up the offer, okay, sending an executed contract to the buyer to sign, or after it's signed, sending the buyer list of inspectors, drafting amendments, sending client information sheet to the title company, closing details. All that stuff should not be on your plate, okay? And it doesn't, I don't care if you like doing it, okay? Find some other hobbies, okay? You know, there are other things that you can do with this life besides immersing yourself completely in real estate. And the fact that you spend so much time in your real estate business is no fault of anyone else but your own, okay? Because I teach, if you follow my methods, you should be working a 4 to 5 hour real estate day at the most. I mean, I've capped every single year since I retired from real estate. Okay, I retired from real estate 5 years ago. I capped last year. I capped the year before here at EXP. I capped the 3 or 4 years that I was retired at Keller Williams. Okay, and I work about maybe 5 or 6 hours at the most in real estate. I can't understand how you could work more than that. I mean, I make over 100 grand in real estate a year, and I'm not putting in more than 25 hours a month in the business. But I do that because I do the most dollar productive activities. Every single thing else that is not dollar productive, there's not the most dollar productive, I farm it out. Now, how do we know how do we determine that? So what we used to do back in the day is we would take a dollar per hour, sort of a schema. And there are some things that are, you know, $20 an hour. There are some things that are $100 an hour. There are some things that are $1,000 an hour. There are some things that are $10,000 an hour. Okay. And there are some things that are more than that. Okay. There are coaches. I remember when I signed up to coach with Russell Brunson, I think at that time it was 25,000, I think is what it was a year, paid up front, no payment plan, but 25,000 up front. So I prayed about it and I was like, I'm doing it. So I talked to Josie. She was like, go for it. Let's go. So I went ahead and I signed up for 25,000, you know, made sure that I had enough balance on my visa. I did. So I went ahead and filled out the application and for my 25,000 to get coaching. And some people would be like, man, why in the world would you spend 25,000 on coaching? Why? Because I wanted to make $1 million a year. And I knew that Russell could teach me how to do that. Okay. Same reason people pay me. Before we created Mentorship Masters, people paid me 18 to 25,000 a year to learn what you guys are learning right now for free. Okay. Those that joined Mentorship Masters at EXP, that group that I used to have was my inner circle. I just flipped it and created this group from that group. But why in the world would they do that? Well, if they're making 100,000 and I can show them guaranteed my system to make at least $250,000 to make another 150,000 a year guaranteed, isn't that worth 25,000? Of course. So I filled out the application, and you know what happened? This God's honest truth. I was declined. My credit card went through, everything was cool, but Russell was like, you know what? I heard your story. I like where you're coming from, but I'm full right now. Try again in 6 months. You know, I don't have any room. So and by the way, he did no one-on-one coaching. Russell doesn't do one-on-one coaching. It's all group coaching. He does group coach. It's just like this program, you know, 25,000. And, but I didn't get in, you know? And but the thing is, the whole idea is the point I'm making is that for coaching me, Russell probably would have invested maybe, I don't know, maybe 10 hours a year, 15. So that would have been like a $1,500 an hour. Now for his inner circle, I think it's 100,000 to join. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's $100,000. And so anyway, the higher, what is the most dollar productive? And that is what it is. Now, how do you farm out some of those activities? So number one, you can hire an assistant, okay, either a VA, which I have several VAs, through My Outdesk, and there's other companies as well. Or you can use a contract to close company. Okay, we have Christy DeWolf right in our Mentorship Masters group that she does contract to close. And there are other, contract to close companies out there. They're usually going to run you anywhere from $350 to $450. And here's the thing, most of you guys, per transaction, most of you, myself, I fall in this bucket. We're like, man, I can do that. Filling out the paperwork, that's easy. It's only going to take me 20 minutes. That's only going to take me 30 minutes. Oh, he only wants to look at one house. That's only going to take me an hour, But what happens is these little things that take you 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes here, an hour there, not only are they taking up little bits of time here and there, but they are they're cramming up space in your reticular activator of your brain, your reticular activator. Now, think of it as a computer processor. Now, a computer processor, if it has a lot of different things open, it might be a little tiny program, but it's got so many of them opened that it just slows down the speed. And I want you to write this word down, mind share. Mind share, okay? You only have so much. And so by taking these things that I'm talking to you about off your plate, it's going to open up your mind share. The reason why you haven't gotten that $1 million idea or that 6-figure idea is because your mind is filled with a bunch of crap. That's the reason, okay? A little showing there, a contract over here, a piece of paperwork over there, a contract to close over there. All this stuff that you shouldn't be doing is in your mind, okay? And it's cluttering it up. If you know for a fact that you don't have to do that, it just erases that. You don't even have to think about it, okay? And all of a sudden, your mind is freed to begin. All of a sudden, you get a phone call and you're like, oh, I can do that with that person. Or, hey, I need to follow up with that person. You start developing more business. Okay, you start taking on more business. Because the number one, a lot of people are like, I can't afford to hire somebody. Well, with contract to close, you pay them at closing. And you should be charging a $5.95 transaction fee on every listing, as I taught you already. That covers that fee anyway. So that's not a good excuse. One other thing I want to show you before I get into Q&A, and I want to hear your ahas, and I want to also hear your questions. One other thing I want to show you is another form that I created that I'm going to share with you guys too. And that is over here. Let me see if it's, so this is what I call my Nollie listing assistance form. So this is a form that I use whenever I have an agent that's going to help me with one of my properties. So if they, and by the way I've done this is I've put together this list based on $25 an hour. Okay. So, there's a lot of agents in your market that have a lot of free time, and they could be putting their license to use by spending some time in the field. They're getting real world experience. And they're helping you at the same time. So if I have someone put up a sign and lock box, I pay $40. Okay. If I have them do a walkthrough, I pay $50. If they take photos of a house. Okay. Now, by the way, on every listing that you take, you should be hiring professional photography. Okay. But what if you have a tear down, or what if you have a distressed property, or something that doesn't deserve those photos, those professional photos, like a short sale or a pre-foreclosure, something like that. Then I just have them walk through the property and take photos for me. Just snap some shots. They don't have to be perfect because we're going to get 20 offers on the property anyway. And it's just, and it's not a property that warrants professional photography. If the agent is helping me throughout the process, I will list them as a second listing agent, and I will pay them. And I will estimate that it'll take about 3 hours of their time. They'll get a 15-minute phone call here or a 10-minute. And by the way, I teach them, don't take phone calls, do everything by text. So if somebody has a question about the house, have them text you, you text them back. So just for that agent helping me with the property, I pay them for 3 hours. Now, if it takes them a little longer, then we add, you know, it's 25 bucks an hour, additional time. And you can, by the way, you can pay this when the property closes. So what I do is when I'm going to take someone on to do a property for me, I just check off what I want them to do. I say, okay, I want you to put the sign and lock box. I'm going to need you to do a walkthrough because I've already gotten the listing. I did it through Zoom. I've got the listing paperwork. I just need you to go and walk through the house and show them what needs to be done. I want you to also answer any inquiries. I want you to negotiate any repairs if that comes up. And I want you to remove the sign and lock box. Okay. So that's what I do. I just check off what I want them to do. I put their information here, and I put the CBS or shackle, whatever the lockbox number and the codes that they need. And then I just print this off as a PDF. Okay. What I do is I go to, let me see, where is it? Print. You can go to print, or you can go file download as a PDF. That's better. And then what it does is it will download this as a PDF that you can send to them as their, you know, or you could just share the document with them if you care to, you know, you can just share it with them. So that just kind of walks you through the other piece of this, of how I kind of recruit other real estate agents to help me with this, and you know, and what you should be doing and should not be doing. Okay, so hopefully has that been helpful? That been good? Yes. Okay, good. So now what I want to do is I want to open it up for I'm looking through the chat here. Are there any ahas? Share with me what you've learned. Are you going to start doing anything differently? Hopefully you will. Has this been what you're doing already? And how's it working? Okay, let's read some of these comments. Let me go up here a little bit. And if you want to unmute yourself, you can chat too, no problem. Okay. Oh, Tanika's asking, can we have a copy of the form? Yes. So the form, I believe, let me see, Tanika. Tanika, did you already look in the portal?
Yes, I already found it. I was like, I don't know why I didn't see all these documents in here before, but I got them.
You got it? Okay, good.
Nollie, what's the name of it? And I will upload it. I was trying to find it. I just couldn't find the name of it. What's the name of the form?
What's the name? I call it the Nollie Assistance Form, but I might have changed the name of it for you guys.
I'm in the portal now. I was going to upload it. I just couldn't find it.
It's under Nollie's tools and resources under the Nollie team listing, worksheet and docs.
Got it. Okay. I'll upload it, guys.
Yeah. All right. So let me see. Yeah, these are really tools. And by the way, I have to say this because a lot of real estate agents are afraid to use the tools that I teach because it's just a different way of doing business, you know, and it's just not what they're used to doing. Most real estate agents are used to hustling and grinding, but I'm just sharing with you that there's a different way to run this business. You know, when I was doing my last year in production, I did 153 deals. If I do $10,000 a month in real estate, I don't call that production. So I'm just telling you the way I think. So I think high volume. You know, if I do 15 deals a year and I make 150,000, that means I'm retired as far as I'm concerned. I remember one time I was teaching a class, and you know, whenever we have our classes again, you know, you guys have to come because I have a lot of fun in our classes, and the Holy Spirit puts a little comedian in me. I get real funny. But there was one time I wasn't even trying to be funny. I was this gal was in the class. She was in the front row to my right, and I was asking, you know, what kind of production everybody was doing. And she said, she was excited. She said, I do 12 deals a year. I said, oh, you're part-time. And I was not trying to be funny. God is my witness. 12 deals a year, I was doing that a month. Okay. So I said, oh, so you're part-time. Everybody started laughing, and poor thing. I had to apologize profusely. I just thought she was part-time. I can't understand how you could be full-time doing 12 deals. I just doesn't fathom it. It's unconscious. I can't even put it in my conscious. I can't see how. So what I teach in general, just so you know, is I teach you the methods that will get you 6 to 10 listings a month. Okay. Now, most people don't, because that's not their thing, they don't want to operate at that level. That's fine. Okay. But the reality is, you can be doing a lot more than you are, but the only way to do it is you've got to start thinking bigger, and you've got to start leveraging many of your activities. But I know it's not easy. Okay. What else? Okay. So Lucas
Hey,
is asking.
now it's Charles.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead. I can hear you. Charles, I can hear you. Charles, where are you? Okay, Charles, we can't hear you. Let me see if you're
How
muted.
about now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
How's it going, brother?
Good, man. What's going on? I see you're crushing it, huh?
Do a little video. Hey, yeah, my aha is, I was just thinking about this yesterday, because I spent like half a day at an inspection, and I'm like, yeah, it's great to get the deal closed, but I'm not making any money at this, right? And then today I'm over at a house that the listing we got under contract, dealing with contractor, because the lady's already moved, so I'm dealing with that. Like I said, I mean, it's great, yeah, getting the deals all closed, but it's not making me money. So for somebody like me, and I'm looking for people just to do that type of stuff, what do you recommend? I mean, do I need to have a licensed agent?
I would say, yeah. So here's what I would tell you. I've closed over 1,000 deals, probably closer to 1,200. I've never physically gone to an inspection ever in my life. Okay. I just never have. So it's just not something I do. And what I explain to my clients, and by the way, I've closed all those deals. So for the agent, now, have I lost a couple of deals? I can probably name 2 to 3 that I did lose that I feel like I probably would have gotten if I was at the inspection. But when you run a high volume business, that's not an option for you. So what I tell my clients is I say, you know what, I'm not going to be at the inspection for liability reasons. Okay, because and that is truthfully, from a liability standpoint, you guys need to talk to your broker about this. But from a liability standpoint, it is not a good idea for an agent to be at the inspection. Okay, liability wise, don't ask me why, but that's the reality of it. So I just tell them, hey, for liability reasons, I won't be at the inspection, but here's what I will do. Once the inspection is completed, we will review the inspection with you. I'm going to have my business partner review the inspection with you, and we'll go through that, and that's it. That's what I explained to him. So I don't think that you have to hire anybody to do that. What's the other thing you talked about? Inspection walkthrough, and what's the other one?
And both of these are kind of unique situations, because the one with the inspection is an out-of-town buyer. Mm-hmm. And it's a private sale, so I had to actually open the door for the inspector to get in.
I never do that, ever.
Wow.
I have never
opened a house. Way for him to get in.
I have never, ever in my life opened a house for an inspector. Okay.
Yeah.
I have to think, it's a lot of transactions. I have to think back and see if I've ever, but I just won't do it. I will only hire an inspector that has MLS access, period. If you don't have it, I'm not spending 2 hours of my day to go open a door.
Kind of a long story. He did, but it was a different type of deal.
Okay. Here's the thing.
About the other day.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm giving people more the general picture. If I was going to have somebody go open a house, I'm going to hire an agent to do that. $25 an hour is what I charge. Okay. I mean, what I pay. I have it on the sheet. If I need you to do that's like an errand or something like that, and it takes an hour, 30 minutes for you to drive over there, 30 minutes, then I pay you $25.
Yeah.
I'd rather have 20.
That's when I could have easily like just gotten a local inspector in that area to go open it up.
Of course. Of
Yeah,
course. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And I've had inspectors, they're like, man, I don't have access. I'm like, well, I mean, do you have a friend that has access? I mean, because here's the thing, Charles. How can you take 4 to 5 vacations a year, work 20 to 30 hours a week or less, nights and weekends off, and be doing that kind of stuff? You can't. I'm assuming that I'm in Greece. Like right now, I'm in Greece. Am I going to be opening the house for an inspector? No. When I was doing 100 plus deals a year, I was all over the world. Okay. So you have to think about it from a standpoint of not being physically present. If you have to physically be present for something to happen, it will stifle your growth. You will never grow to your ultimate potentiality because you're the bottleneck.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So you have to.
So for somebody like me that's not in a position to like hire an assistant per se, some of these little things, just try to contract them out one at a time.
Correct.
Just to prevent me from having to go and be a part of it.
That's correct. Yeah, what you do is you partner with an agent that's in our group, because like where you're in Austin, Texas. So we probably have 16 members here, a lot of new ones. And man, they'll be happy to go to an inspection or open a house. I mean, because look, they're getting experience. Those are things that you do to get the experience. But once you've done them a couple, times, the thrill is gone. You know what I'm saying? So, I probably from the early days, first couple months I did it, but the thrill is gone. You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Charles. So what I do is I have the inspector call me like 30 minutes prior to the, Ronnie, be quiet. 30 minutes prior to the inspection being over and just go over on three-way with my client.
Again, unique.
Call Ted Tudor. He's good. And he doesn't freak people out.
No. Different type of deal altogether.
Call me later, okay?
Let me jump on some of these other ones. So somebody's asking, what is my take? This is Rebecca again. What is my take
Patty Lynn told me to ask you that live, and I'm not going to do that.
on a transaction coordinator if you're brand new? So here's my belief is that you should, if you're brand new to real estate, you should, and thank you, Charles. That was beautiful, man. I appreciate you being open and with that, because it's a struggle that we all deal with, and but that needs to come off your plate. Okay, so if you're brand new to real estate, what I recommend is that you do the first 2 or 3 deals yourself, all the way through, just so you get a feel for what it's all about, and never do it again. Let me say it again. Do the first 2 to 3 deals yourself and never do it again, ever. That's my recommendation, because it's just not the most dollar productive.
Huh?
All right. Hey, Pamela, did you have something?
Hi, my name is Daniel. I'm calling from Cheap Insurance Rates Online.
Pamela,
sorry. No, thank you.
Yeah, did you have a question, Pamela? Or no?
No question.
Okay, no problem. Okay. All right. So that's my recommendation. And if you can learn to do this right out of the gate. See, I was 8 months in the business when I hired my first administrative assistant, Barbara, and she was with me through my whole career. Okay. So me and Barbara did every single transaction that I did together. And then eventually I had like 4 or 5 admin people on staff, but if you grow to that, fine. I had 3 admins over my short sale business. I had Barbara that was over my what I call retail business, and then we had a couple of other admins that would help us as well. We even had admins that would help us in the field too. Now remember Stuart Sutton. Stuart, what he does, and I'll have him teach his methodology. He has a part-time assistant, okay, and yet he's making anywhere from, close to $1 million a year in commission. Put it that way, and he's been doing that for 30 years, about $1 million a year. Now, Stuart remembers when he had a big team, buyers agents, all the stuff that we used to teach that you had to do. But Stuart and I have learned that you really don't have to have. I would probably never have more than 1 assistant, maybe 2. if I was making more than $1 million a year in commission. But if I'm making less than that, you really just don't need it. Okay, so let's see. Oh yeah, the stock split. Thank you for reminding me about that, Stuart. Yeah, so yeah, so our stock is going nuts, guys. I don't know if you've seen the EXP stock lately, but are we at $97 a share? So our stock just split. And so what that means is that the stock, there's going to be, I think, twice as many shares. It's a 2-for-1. So there's going to be twice as many shares of stock. So what that means is the stock price individually will be devalued. It'll go down, but the overall, like if your portfolio is at, $20,000 in stock, it'll still be 20,000, but you'll have twice as many shares. Okay. So when a stock splits, it's a good thing, guys. It's a good thing. So our stock is going nuts. It's hard to believe it was at $9 a share just 9 months ago. So that's absolutely incredible. Okay, cool. Yeah, Mark also asked, as a new or inexperienced agent, should you do everything at first to get a good working knowledge? Yes, you should. You should do it 2 to 3 times and never do it again. And then is there anything else? Yeah. Oh, okay. Cool. Lucas is asking, do you pay each at closing or weekly or monthly? So when you have these agents that are helping you with stuff, you can work that out with them. I like to pay weekly to them, or you could do bi-weekly or monthly, whatever's easier for you. But you have to believe that, first of all, you have to be doing what I teach. If you're not doing what I teach, you're not going to generate the results that generate income for you to be able to hire people. Okay. So if you're not doing the other stuff I teach, then again, remember, when we do these classes together, my commitment is to give you one little chunk from the book, one chunk, one piece. So this isn't the whole shooting match. Remember, I got a 430-page book that teaches the whole shooting match. This is just one piece of it. So if you're not doing the other pieces, then don't do this. Have your foundation laid first, right? But if you're doing the other stuff, you're going to be having a rocking business. You can't but have it, okay? And I guarantee you the time that Charles is spending out there, driving to that thing, getting distracted, being at the property, talking about stuff he shouldn't be talking about, driving back, and his whole game is thrown off. Your whole game, your mindset, everything is thrown off. Why? Because that's a disruption. That's a disruption to your business, okay? And it's a distraction. Anything that is not most dollar productive is a distraction to your business, period. All right, guys, that's our time for today. I love y'all. I love it when I get to hang out with my family. We're doing some stuff to make it better for you. We're going to talk more about what Patty Lynn will be doing, what Chris will be doing for you guys. And we're also going to talk about next week, and we're going to talk about having a rocking business when it comes to attracting more agents to Mentorship Masters, okay, from all over the world. Love you guys. You can unmute yourself, say goodbye. Adios.
Bye, Nollie. Thank you.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
What's up, Chris?